energy at the gym and really hit one out of the park in the bedroom? Balanced Medical Solutions has your back with the best solutions for ED, PE, weight gain, and chronic fatigue. Join thousands of Bay Area men who have said goodbye to low testosterone, low energy, and low libido who now feel like world champs. Mention this station until the end of the month to get a medical evaluation with labs, including hormone tests, for only $69. Call today and get a win. 510-679-3300 or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Steph Curry and the Warriors return to TD Garden for a finals rematch.
Nobody moving. Curry back cuts on White, takes the jumper, got it! Curry for three!
Warriors.
Curry drifting, all eyes on number 30. Bounce pass to Thompson, fires away, bang!
Celtics.
Horford offensive rebound, out to Marcus Smart for three, he got it!
Our pregame coverage starts at 3:30.
Curry fires away and hits a three!
On the home of the Warriors, 95.7 The Game. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Good morning!
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the pregame show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Oh, yes. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on this Thursday here. A little wet. Got some rain last night, a little bit. At least I did over in Oakland. But the sun is starting to shine once again. Most of that rain is long gone. And all eyes are still set this Sunday at Levi's. 3:30, Cowboys, 49ers. We have a finals rematch tonight in Boston. Celtics, Warriors. We will have all that coverage for you here. 95.7 The Game starting at 3:30. John Dickinson, Warriors Live. He'll take that before tossing it over to the great Tim Roy, who will take you up to tip-off. And we'll have all the coverage of that game right here on 95.7 The Game. We'll have the post, and we'll react to it again tomorrow morning. So a lot to get into today. Short amount of time to do it. 888-957-9570. 888-957-9570. YouTube, how you doing? Hit up that chat. Want to hear from you. Xfinity Bomo text line as well. Again, 888-957-9570. And there's just an awful lot to get into. We had so many guests yesterday. Again, I was doing my best to tease all of them in the short amount of time I had. We had John Lynch with the morning roast. We had Bob Myers with Steiny and Goo. We had Steve Kerr, Damon and Ratto, Michael freaking Irvin, Damon and Ratto, like just unreal. Justin Smith, Damon, I get in every morning, just take you behind the curtain. I get in every morning. All right, what sound do I have? What can I play with? What do we got in the system? Just pages and pages of all the guests that we had. It's just unreal. So great job with the guys with the production there. All the producers, you guys, shout out you, Grandy, Evan, John. Who the hell is John? All you guys doing a great job. So, Cowboys, 49ers. I was thinking about what layer we haven't touched yet. And we did a deep dive, the matchup itself, and on Tuesday when we first found out the Cowboys are going to be the opponent, and we'll still do that tomorrow. We'll do our keys to the game, predictions, what have you. But I was starting to think, the winner of this game has a real good chance to be in the Super Bowl. And by definition, being in the Super Bowl, you have a good chance to win the whole thing. It's you or another team. 50-50. I was just trying to think, on both sides, Niners, Cowboys, who has the most riding on this game? And it's an interesting question because I was like, well, I think this is the best team that Kyle Shanahan's ever had. They're healthier than they've ever been. They have a quarterback that he trusts for the first time since, Matt Ryan, back when he was an OC with Atlanta. So, Kyle Shanahan? Is it John Lynch? his executive of the year, he is probably without a doubt the executive of the year in the NFL. His move for Christian McCaffrey alone probably seals the deal there. The emergence of Brock Purdy, just what he's been able to do and shape this team and shape this roster. And yes, it's a tandem effort between him and the head coach. Absolutely. But when you are the GM in title, you're going to get a lot of that credit too. So hell of credit to John Lynch, and hell of an interview yesterday, by the way, on the Morning Roast with Bonta and Jaska. They did a hell of a job. We're going to hear some from John Lynch because he had some fascinating comments about the addition of CMC, about drafting Brock Purdy, that whole story, how he's sneaky athletic, all this sort of stuff. Back to the white guy athlete tropes. Sneaky athletic, gritty, gym rat. What else do we got? Let me know at 888-957-9570 that has not already been attributed to Brock Purdy. Coach's son? Is he a coach's son? He's the kind of guy that you want your daughter to date. That's Brock Purdy. So I'm asking you, the audience, all of you, and download that Odyssey app if you haven't. Favorite 95.7 The Game. 888-957-9570 on the YouTube chat. Who has the most writing on this game? And it doesn't have to be a player. Hell, it could be Jerry Jones, the owner for the Cowboys. This kind of feels like this is their last opportunity. If they were to win this game, they're going up against a division rival. And yeah, throw the records out, even in the playoffs, with a great chance to go to the Super Bowl. This could be his final swan song. And nothing would make a 49ers fan happier than to be at home, setting the Cowboys home, setting Jerry Jones home. He's going to be in his suite. You know it. They're going to be panning to him constantly during the game. By the way, it's going to be on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olsen, they'll be on the call. That'll be fun. That's a good team. Greg Olsen's grown on me as a broadcaster. A little kind of green when he came in, a little kind of happy-go-lucky, but his energy and his analysis have improved every single week, and they've become a hell of a duo. I mean, it's hard to replace Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, but I think they've been doing a hell of a job. Kevin Burkhardt's just a pro's pro. You see him all the time. He's the studio analyst during all the World Series, the MLB playoffs. He's very good. I feel like he's done a lot of big 49ers games in the past, too. I think of specifically that New Orleans game. It was him, right? And he used to be paired with the GM John Lynch. I used to be them two together in the studio. So very cool to see that. Very excited for that game. Again, 3:30 at Levi's Stadium. We'll have all that action for you here on 95.7 The Game, the pre and post. Kickoff show, Low Neal, Larry Krueger live from the Hilton in Santa Clara. That'll be fun. I know awful lot of 95.7ers, the gamers, whatever you want to call them, hosts, producers are going. Sam, you going to the game? Thumbs up. Sam Lemon's going to the game. He'll be excited. Lucas Alexander, I'm pretty sure, is going. Damon might be going. Fight on. FTFO. Won't spell that out for you. Those in the know. Those that don't. We got Shasky and Bonta, I'm pretty sure, are going to be heading over there. Dibbs was talking about it yesterday. He'll be there. So we might have every single show represented. I'm sure someone from the weekend will be there. Well, maybe not. We need people to cut audio, right, Sam? Yeah. We need some people to cut audio. Shout out to everyone cutting audio yesterday. Sam was grinding that Lynch interview. He had some awesome stuff to say, and we'll play that for you in a second. But 888-957-9570. Who has the most writing on this game? BCB, according to the 650 Unexpected Mobile Text Line. I won't tell you what that means. Well, at least I won't tell you what the middle word means. Big Chicken Brock. There you go. Chicken broccoli.
Let's go Big Champion Brock.
Big Champion. There you go. Shout out Sam. I think it is Brock Purdy. I think Brock has the most riding on this game. If he beats and sends home in the playoffs in the divisional round at Levi's Stadium your biggest rival, the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, all those guys. You send them home, I don't care how it looks. He's the guy next year. Now, is he the guy for the next 10 years? Like Mark Willard was talking about this whole week? I don't know about that. We thought that was Jimmy Garoppolo. We thought that was Alex Smith. We thought that was Colin Kaepernick. So there's so many. But he is definitely the guy for next year. He'll have those starting reps in training camp. I know that. Could you imagine? And if he wins the NFC the championship and then he goes to the Super Bowl, just 1 week at a time, I know, but just, my God. Brock Purdy has the NFL in the palm of his hand right now. Iowa State's own Brock Purdy. Can you imagine telling yourself that before the season? Could you imagine that? Mr. Irrelevant. And yes, people are starting to say, don't call him that anymore. He's relevant. No, Mr. Irrelevant is a great name. It's ironic because clearly he's relevant now and he's playing some of the best football in the league as a rookie, as the last pick in the draft. He's on a 6-game winning streak. He's Mr. Irrelevant. And that's awesome. How could you not root for this guy? I mean, if you hate the Niners, obviously, and you're a Cowboys fan. 925, like they say, regular season is where you make your name. Playoff is where you make your fame. I haven't heard that before. I like that 925 in the Xfinity Mobile text line. Regular season is where you make your name. Playoff is where you make your fame. It's a good point. I'm trying to think of the all-time guys who are solid in the regular season but really made the name for themselves in the playoffs. Julian Edelman comes to mind. Like, this guy was breaking Jerry Rice kind of numbers in the playoffs. You don't do that unless you're in the playoffs constantly, like Jerry was and like Edelman was with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. But Brock Purdy, he does have a chance to go down in NFL history with the greatest Super Bowl run in NFL history. This would be led by a quarterback who was the last pick in this past draft, Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, the script writers down in Hollywood, they will have a field day with this. Who's going to be the actor for Brock Purdy? Who do you think? 888-957-9570, YouTube chat. Who could play Brock? Now, if they make the movie, you'd have to assume it's probably like 10 years from now, maybe 5 years. Someone young. Maybe it's a young upstart guy. He has to have a baby face. Brock Purdy's outfits and fits, he just gives off such a high school vibe. It's so funny whenever he walks into the stadium. They do the shot. There's Brock with his little backpack, his hoodie. Like, oh, there he is. Sneaking in his way. He's like very unassuming. Like a little wave to the camera. Hi, how you doing? Polar opposite from all the NBA guys with all their swag, whatnot, or even some of the NFL guys with all their chains and whatnot. It's so funny. 408, some preschooler, to my point. I think you mean Tom Holland. I think you said Tim Holland on 408. Tom Holland, the guy who plays Spider-Man right now. That's not bad. Not bad. Tom Cruise. Who is it? Tom Cruise, was he at the Cowboys-Bucks game earlier in the week? Tom Cruise is a kiss of death here in the Bay Area. He was there at the game when the Giants lost to the Dodgers. We don't want Tom Cruise in the Bay. Stay far away. I heard Top Gun Maverick was good. Some say it was great. I still haven't seen it yet. So give me some space. Yeah, I'll see it. Don't worry. But no, miss me on Tom Cruise. Out on Tom Cruise with Bay Area stuff. 408, Xfinity Mobile text line. Going back to who has the most riding on this game between the Niners and Cowboys this Sunday at Levi's. Good question. Oh, thank you. Shanny will look bad if say the Niners blow this game. Maybe falls through since Dak hasn't performed in the offs. Okay. Kind of missed me with that little last sentence, but I get what you're saying. Shanahan, if they have a lead and they blow it, absolutely. If, let's say, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys just have a hell of a performance and it comes down to the wire and they win by a point or something like that, don't think you'd be too mad at Shanahan. I think Shanahan's done a hell of a job this season. And yes, at this point, it would be tremendously disappointing to see the 49ers lose, especially to your playoff rival Dallas Cowboys. I think Shanahan would be labeled as he can't win the big one, but he's already labeled like that. I don't think he's going to shake that label of can't win the big one until he finally wins the Super Bowl. That's just how it is. It's how it was with Andy Reid, and this is how it's going to be with Kyle Shanahan. Their career arcs may be very comparable. Andy Reid went to 4 straight NFC championships, got to a Super Bowl, couldn't get it done, finally got his way with the Chiefs. Alex Smith, bunch of AFC West titles, many playoff appearances, couldn't get it done. Then you get Patrick Mahomes, AFC championship game, overtime loss to Tom Brady, come back the next year. We know what happened there in Miami, overthrowing Emmanuel Sanders. The rest is history. Then you go back the next year if you're Andy Reid, and you lose to Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. So until Kyle Shanahan wins the big one, he is going to have that kind of Andy Reid career arc. So he does have a lot riding on this game, to your point. Oh, I like that 415 on the Xfinity mobile text line. Mission irrelevant for Tom Cruise. That's not bad. That's not bad. Hey, let's listen to John Lynch, who joined the Morning Roast yesterday. I teased it earlier. Just fascinating. It's a little long here, but I think it's important to get the encompassing story about how and why they drafted Brock Purdy. So here's John Lynch yesterday on the Morning Roast talking about that story.
The story was he had really good reports. He played a lot of football at Iowa State. That the area scout that was there at the time was a kid. I call him a kid, but Steve Slowick, he's now in-house. He's a pro scout. His brother is Bobby, our pass game coordinator. And Steve was the area scout there. And, Steve would say, guys, I love the player, but you love the player more when you go hear from a head coach like Matt Campbell talk about this guy. And when you're using words like, or description such as like, this guy is a program changer. He changed our program here. He changed our culture here. Those type of things. So Steve Slowick would always talk about this kid. So you start watching him and you start really appreciating his game. We thought he might come out his junior year. He probably played a little bit better his junior year. Our grades were a little bit higher. He goes back for one more year. And then, prior to the draft, Kyle and I, when we're sitting down, we'd really like to come out of this draft with a young quarterback late in the draft, whether it be, a late draft choice or a free agent. We had some other things that we had to get for our roster that we needed. But man, it'd be nice to come out with a guy we really like and want to invest some time into late. And so, you kind of then scouting kind of hands it over to the coaches, and the coaches and our area scouts work together. And so we handed like a bucket of, probably eight to 10 guys down to Brian Greasy and Clay Kubiak. They worked on it together, and they really came out convicted that they wanted to come away, in some form or fashion with Brock Purdy. And, because we had our other needs, we had to add some corners, we had to add an offensive lineman, we were pecking away at those things. And then you get to the end, and there was like a linebacker we liked, and then there was Purdy. And you just said, man, we think we have Purdy as a free agent, but, why wait on that? Because we knew there was competition for him as well. We had that last pick. Didn't know if he'd last. As soon as that pick right before us went, we said that, Kyle and I looked at each other and said, let's just pull the trigger and bring him in. And so we did, not to try to be cute with the whole Mr. Irrelevant thing. We really liked the guy. And I think the conviction of an area scout like Steve Slowick, the work that Greasy and Clay Kubiak did, they Zoomed him a lot. They talked to a lot of people at Iowa State. And when you have that kind of conviction, people really pulling for a guy like that, you feel compelled to do something. And man, I'm sure glad those guys were convicted, because he's really been something special for us. And I'm grateful to all those guys that I mentioned.
So it was a team effort. And he mentioned Brian Greasy, obviously former quarterback. He was with Kyle Shanahan's father, Mike Shanahan, in Denver. You know him from the Monday Night Booth, most recently on ESPN with Louis Riddick and Steve Levy. He was influential in that. And it's kind of interesting and kind of funny to look at two former athletes, two former players, John Lynch, Brian Greasy, also both studio guys. A little interesting there, right? Coming back down from the booth, getting these jobs. Brian Greasy, obviously quarterback coach. And that whole, and it's not easy, by the way, leaving that broadcast booth, because especially if you're John Lynch, and we're going to play the soundbite here in a second, he had some offers on the table, and not just from NBCs. We're talking big boys. We're talking Mr. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and those executives coming to his house. So we'll play that here in a second, but just the story of drafting Brock Purdy. They did their due diligence. This wasn't like a whim thing, just, be a cute story. Let's draft him in the last pick. He's even saying it's like, we're not trying to be cute here. It was, it's Mr. Whatever, but we wanted him, and they got him. So hats off to that whole crew, Lynch, Greasy, all the scouts involved. They did a good job. And listen, if Brock Purdy fades and doesn't have a good game this week, just getting here to this point is an accomplishment in itself if you're Mr. Irrelevant. He's on a 6-game winning streak. I know not a lot of Niners fans want to hear that. I don't want to hear that weak mentality, quote unquote. We're here to win, obviously. But just take a step back. It's a hell of an achievement for Brock Purdy even getting this far and how good he has looked, especially in that debut and that ass whooping against Seattle. Very impressive. But I mentioned John Lynch and the rumors that he may have left for a studio job, a play-by or a color hosting gig, color commentating. Here's him talking about that.
I was humbled, Freddie Godelli, the great producer, long worked with Madden and Michaels and all them. He called at some point and said, "Hey, when you guys are done, I want to talk to you about something." I had no idea what he wanted to talk about. When you have friendships like that, you take the meeting. So my wife and I hosted them in our house, and only to be really shocked. And I knew it was when all of a sudden Amazon executives started showing up at my house. I knew something was up. It was flattering, and they had a vision for what they wanted to do. I listened to the meeting. I had told Kyle and Jed about it, and so they knew, and they were supportive that I should listen. But I had no idea they were gonna have an offer like they did.
What do you think that offer was? I'm thinking of something like $100 million or something. I'm thinking of something ridiculous. If for Lynch to say it kind of like that, the offer that they had, like, because what was Tom Brady? Tom Brady, John Lynch is Tom Brady. Tom Brady had something ridiculous, right? 10-year, $375 from Fox when he wants to step away. Is that what it is? Tom Brady Fox contract. Let's look that up real quick. $375, 10 years to be a lead NFL analyst on air. That won't start until he's finished playing, but that is just ridiculous. What do you think Amazon offered to John Lynch? 100 mil? Something ridiculous like that. What was something reported? It was Sean McVay reportedly was getting somewhere around that line. Right? Sean McVay, play-by-play contract. He's already making $14 million. What do I know? So, something like that. $100 million, something like that. That's hard to say no to. And that's a credit to his passion for football. It's a credit to his relationship with Kyle Shanahan, with Jed York, his comfortability with the front office, everything. He loves being a 49er. And that's huge right now. All these great kind of teams get torn apart, and we've seen it forever in New England. All the different coordinators coming left and right, coming and going. Special teams, defensive, offensive. They leave. Belichick stays. And Belichick is one of one. He's the guy. He's the head honcho. It's tough to duplicate what he did. But the pairing of Lynch and Shanahan, Shanna Lynch, whatever you want to say, it's impressive. And the defensive coordinators may be coming and going as long as Kyle stays, and hell, John Lynch too. And mainly Kyle, because he's on the field calling the plays, obviously. And he's young enough to where you can envision him staying for the next decade. I think Kyle Shanahan solidified himself. He's definitely not getting axed or fired, albeit something crazy, unforeseen happens off the field. He's the guy. And all the conversations we've had in the offseason in the past, this guy's on the hot seat if they don't compete this year, if Trey Lance doesn't develop, yada, yada, yada. Well, Brock Purdy's developing, and they're a win away from going to a second consecutive NFC championship. He's the guy. And if Brock Purdy becomes the guy, and they're tied at the hip, get ready. Buckle yourselves in. This is going to be a long flight. Shout out Flight 957, RIP. From the YouTube chat, Red Eye, so many cockpit vids from planes, jets, military. Unless you live in a tomb, you've seen everything in Top Gun Maverick. #facts. Sorry, I've been in a tomb, a.k.a. I have a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old, and I don't go to the movies as much as I wanted to. But maybe I'll rent it or whatever, stream it. I'm sure it's on some streaming service soon. So calm down, Red Eye, in the YouTube chat. I'll watch it. Just don't have time. There's so many shows and content that I can't watch while also keeping up with all the sports that I have to watch. By the way, another sport that we have to keep an eye on tonight in Boston, the NBA, and the Celtics taking on the Golden State Warriors. And Warriors Live starting at 3:30, coverage of that right here on 95.7 The Game with John Dickinson. And we'll have all the in-game coverage, post-game coverage. We'll have all that for you. NBA Finals rematch, Celtics Warriors. That's a nice little appetizer for the NFL action this weekend. And the Warriors play the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow, so we got a back-to-back. So we got awful lot of content to react to. So can't wait for that matchup again. Oh, 408, Xfinity Mobile text line. Top Gun Maverick is okay, playa. Yeah, okay. A lot of people thought it was amazing, so I'm not sure. Let me know your thoughts. Zach from the YouTube chat thinks John Lynch's contract with Amazon was $250 4 years. Woo! $250 mil? My God. That'd be pretty wild. It was something ridiculous. I'm going like 10 years, 100 million. Here, John. Come back to the broadcast booth. We're tired of Al Michaels. We'll find you someone new, someone young, someone hip. Herb Street, God love him. He's overworked. Too many college games, too many NFL. I saw some ridiculous thing. Did he have like 30 games in like 2 months? Something ridiculous. Something unreal. But Kirk Herbstreit, that guy's overworked. He needs a break. And this is his break time right now. So shout out Kirk. Captain Kirk. Starship Enterprise. Everyone's crushing me because I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick. I'm sorry. Brandon on the YouTube chat. Amazon would have secured Judge to the Giants. That's a walk-off right there. I think that's a good place to take a quick break. We'll come on back. We're going to hear more from John Lynch in that awesome interview he had on the Morning Roast with Bonta and Shasky yesterday. We're going to hear from Michael Irvin, the playmaker, the Hall of Famer, the Dallas Cowboy wide receiver. He was on with Damon Rado yesterday. And he says, he makes a Superman reference in regards to this 49ers matchup that is very interesting in regards to the Dallas Cowboys. So we'll hear that on the other side. This is the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Steph Curry and the Warriors return to TD Garden for a finals rematch.
Nobody moving. Curry back cuts on White. Takes the jumper. Got it! Curry for 3.
Warriors.
Curry drifting. All eyes on number 30. Bounce pass to Thompson. Fires away. Bang!
Celtics.
Horford offensive rebound. Out to Marcus Smart for 3. He got it.
Our pregame coverage starts at 3:30.
Curry fires away and hits a 3.
On the home of the Warriors. 95.7 The Game.
There's a reason Golden State has become the trusted partner for professional builders and contractors. The breadth of what they offer is remarkable. Their product knowledge can save you time. They're the largest distributor in NorCal of many of the brands they carry. Golden State's newly refreshed app offers installation guides, building codes, and much more. And the GSTV link on their homepage is a useful resource. Family owned for 3 generations. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. I hate the struggle of tough, greasy messes on my stovetop. So I just freak, wipe, and I'm done.
When I'm frustrated with stubborn bathtub soap scum, I just freak, wipe, and I'm done.
Mr. Clean Clean Freak delivers an innovative cleaning experience with a powerful, deep cleaning mist that starts working on contact to break down tough messes in seconds.
Just freak,
wipe, done.
Bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. You earn points and save when you buy the top pro brands you trust, like DeWalt. Right now, you can save $100 on the powerful DeWalt 8¼ carbide tipped portable table saw. Was $399, now just $299. Join today and shop bonus days, only at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 120. Subject to change while supplies last. Visit Lowe's.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
So, the other day, I bought an extremely chatty...
Boring story time!
Make that an extremely catty cockatoo.
You're welcome!
Apparently, the pet store won't take it back. But, hey, I'll manage.
I love that for you!
Just like I manage without home internet.
No, you don't!
Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable.
Aw, Bertie likes to stream!
But I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
My lady friend! It's mating season, duh!
No home internet? It's not that bad. No, not there!
It is that bad. Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code FRIEND at checkout. That's harrys.com, code FRIEND. Enjoy.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. What's the difference between me and you? Well, I'm staying home, and I'm not going to the NFC, checked out the NFC divisional round at Levi Stadium. A lot of 95.7 The Gamers are. Shasky, he's fired up. He'll join me next segment for a little bit. They had a great interview with John Lynch yesterday. Again, Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky, Morning Roast. Awesome interview. Check that out. Download that Odyssey app. Favorite 95.7 The Game. They killed it. All eyes. 3:30 this Sunday. Levi Stadium. Niners, Cowboys. Red versus blue. Star versus the SF logo. They'll have that saloon font that Bonte and Shasky love so much. So much will be riding on this game. Reputations will be at stake. Title windows will be at stake. And Shasky, it was interesting. We were having a little conversation during the break there. And we were talking about, listen, who has the most to lose in this game? It was kind of a little riff off how I said is like, who has the most riding on this game? So I kind of in a different way, who has the most lose? Maybe he's radio professional, Joe Shasky, just making it a lot easier to process. was like, I still think it's Kyle Shanahan. That's what Shasky was telling me, and he's going to join me next time and break down a little bit more. I was like, that's interesting, because I was going through the career arc of an Andy Reid and how he was labeled a choker because he couldn't win the big one. But does that make him any less of a coach? It's interesting. It's interesting. So we'll get into more of that on the other side. Again, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, Xfinity mobile text line. YouTube chat. You guys are great. Alex Arroyo, top in the YouTube chat. Raiders suck. Thanks. It's just a beanie, but I appreciate you listening. Appreciate you. They do suck. That's why we're not talking about them. 650. We were talking about Top Gun Maverick because I haven't seen it yet, and apparently that's a fireable offense for some of you. The first Top Gun was way better. You're not missing much. Okay, so there seems to be split. Interesting. Groups being formed. Overrated and really good. Huh. Barry, I'm not going to say your last name. You're not going to get me. Is this the Barry from the Twitter world? I don't think so. Niners are blowing out the Cowboys. Okay. I think this is going to be the closest game this weekend. Of all the games this being played, I think the Niners-Cowboys is going to be the most physical and the closest game. Some say it might be the Bills and the Bengals, and it might be. I think the Bengals are kind of screwed through no fault of their own. Just the offensive linemen, all those offensive linemen getting hurt in that game against the Baltimore Ravens. Was it 3 starting linemen on the offense? I mean, God bless Joe Burrow. He's a hell of a quarterback. You saw him his rookie year with no O-line, and he got destroyed. Hell, you saw him last year against the Titans. He got sacked, 8 times? He had no O-line last year and still got the Super Bowl. I get all that. But, man, against the Bills and that pass rush, I think it's going to be tough. I like the Bills to win by that one by at least 10. So, the Chiefs, the Jags, yeah. Can the Jags shock the world? I don't think so. It might have blowout written all over it for some of you. I think it's a 1 to 2 score game for most of it. And then in the fourth quarter, things start to unravel and then the Chiefs pull away. But it'll be a lot closer than the final score indicate. That has kind of that sense to it for me anyways. And then Giants-Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to not hammer the Giants, but they're going to win pretty comfortably. You're going to see the difference on the field throughout most of the game. And the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, who's off the injury report, by the way. I don't know if that means he's still hurting. I mean, just because he's off the injury report doesn't mean he's still in pain. But whatever that's worth. The Giants, I think, were benefactors. A lot of people hyping them up because Danny Dimes and that offense looked so good against the Minnesota Vikings defense, which just sucks. It's the worst defense in the league. And I think a lot of people are kind of overreacting to that offensive performance against a bad defense in a dome, not in the cold weather, which is what they will be in Philadelphia. So an awful lot of NFL action. We'll break down more of those games tomorrow, give our official picks against the spread, straight up, what have you. But we were listening and reacting to John Lynch. And I'd be remiss if I didn't play the biggest piece of sound in what was the biggest acquisition of the season for any NFL team, which was Christian McCaffrey heading to the 49ers, which changed everything. It's changed the spacing on the field. It's changed the confidence of this team. It's changed the confidence of the quarterback. He's a safety valve. He does everything. He might be the greatest offensive player in the NFL. And I know that's including Patrick Mahomes. But McCaffrey's skill set, what he is able to do as a receiver and running back, it's dynamic. It's absolutely dynamic. And we're seeing it pay dividends for Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, all these guys. Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan. He's the ultimate weapon. And here's John Lynch talking about CMC being a godsend for the organization.
He's been a godsend. I'll tell you, everything you see on the field, you think you know a player, and then it's always you have a little bit of a different reality when you see him up close when they're on your team. And he's just as good as we ever thought he was on the field, or better. I think the intelligence that he plays with is really just elite. His skill, his versatility, all that. But I just think the commitment to being that player is probably what you don't know from afar. And man, this guy, I tell people all the time, he works coach's hours. He's here in the morning when you get here. He's still here when you're leaving, and it's just so impressive. And there's an aura of confidence that comes with having a guy like Christian on your side. He's kind of our version of Bosa on defense, and he's been tremendous. I think the way he kind of assimilated into our team, like right away, it was like he was an instant leader. He just fit really well, and we always felt like this was a guy who we admired as we started thinking and started hearing that he might be available. You start thinking, wow, this is a guy we really like where our offense is at. Do we need to do something? No, but this is a guy, if there's a guy to go get, this is a guy who could, the word we kept using was unlock what we do and make us even more tough to deal with. And I think the results have been tremendous, and I can't say enough about the way he prepares. And so it's been a great example. The productivity's been great. It's really been a nice deal for this organization.
It's been a great deal for the organization. That's a great way to put it. He's kind of like how Bosa is on the defense for the 49ers. He's that guy on offense. It's a great way to put it. He's that dynamic player that changes everything, that you have to scheme around. Other defenses have to scheme around that guy. What's he going to do? Where's Christian? Where's he out on the field? Is he lining up at wide receiver? Is he in the backfield? Is he going to do a jet sweep motion? What's he going to do? He is the ultimate Swiss Army knife tool. I'm sure you've heard that a bunch of times, but he is. He's that. He has the little knife. He has the little pair of scissors. He has the little corkscrew on top. I think that's about my knowledge of a Swiss Army knife. What else am I missing? Oh, the little saw that's on there too, the deluxe version. He's got everything. By the way, I'm looking at ESPN right now. We have a couple studios, a couple TVs in the studio. And Cowboys signing kicker Tristan Vizcaino. Oh, just for backup and just for just have a safety valve, if you will. Okay. Tell me you're not worried about your starting kicker without telling me. You sign a backup. Yikes. And that might just be, maybe we're just overlooking that whole thing, and maybe we're not. But having a shaky kicker heading into a playoff matchup, maybe that makes the Cowboys more aggressive on offense. Maybe they're going to be going for it more than they normally would. That's an interesting little wrinkle. Right? Maybe they're at, the 38-yard line, and it's 4th and 5. It's like, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to go for it. Whereas Maher usually would have a leg and he could have made it. They're like, no. So maybe that changes things. That's an interesting little wrinkle to think about heading into this game with a shaky kicker in the Dallas Cowboys. From the YouTube chat, Dave Skeezy, TVZ, I live in Dallas, and the radio media are not worried about Brock. They are worried about Kyle more than anything. Brock is just a better Mullins to them. Huh. Well, I've never seen Nick Mullins do what Brock Purdy is doing right now. Specifically, not turning the ball over. That was the big thing with Nick Mullins. He would just make boneheaded plays that you saw Jimmy Garoppolo already make. He'd have these oh-no throws as well. Purdy's much more mobile. He's slippery. Keeps his eyes downfield constantly. Doesn't seem to get, too caught up in the moment. Occasionally in the first half. Again, as a rookie, it's to be expected at times. But for the most part, he is calm, cool, and collected. And Nick Mullins, man, at times, he would destroy teams because of Kyle Shanahan's scheme. You think back to that Raiders and Niners Thursday night game when the Raiders got absolutely destroyed at Levi Stadium. The last time they were the Oakland Raiders. But I do not see the Nick Mullins Brock Purdy comp right now. Right now. If Brock starts turning it over all the time, it's like, okay, maybe there's something there, but I don't think that's a fair comparison at the moment. We're going to take one more break. Come on back. Joe Shasky will join me for a little crosstalk before he hops on the Morning Roast with Bonte Hill. They're fired up. They got a great show for you today. Still talking 49ers, Cowboys, that John Lynch interview, more reaction to that, Michael Irvin, I teased it. I will play some more of his sound. He had an interesting thought and made a very interesting comic book comparison to what the 49ers are to the Dallas Cowboys. I'll tell you what that is on the other side. This is the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
This Sunday, Lorenzo Neal and Larry Krueger are live from the Hilton Santa Clara for the playoffs.
Purdy dances and finds McCaffrey, who broke loose. Touchdown, San Francisco.
The kickoff show, Playoff Edition, is brought to you by Harris Ranch Beef. Legendary beef, legendary quality, and Jim Beam Bourbon Whiskey. Taste the world's #1 bourbon.
If your resolutions include more energy, stamina, fire in the bedroom, or losing weight once and for all, listen up. Thousands of proactive patients have met or exceeded these goals with the caring team at Balanced Medical Solutions, the Bay Area's premier vitality clinic dedicated to helping all patients enjoy long, healthy lives full of energy, vigor, and sexual satisfaction. Until the end of the month, mention this station to get an evaluation with comprehensive labs, including hormone tests, for only $69. Call now, 510-679-3300, or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Aaron, owner of California Deluxe Windows. Ever notice? When your neighbors get new windows, there is a large black eye of broken stucco, uneven plaster, and even mismatched paint. At California Deluxe Windows, we never leave a ring around the window. Why? Because we are one of the only companies in California who custom crafts every window and door to your home's exact measurements. Almost everyone else on the radio is a distributor. They grab a window from a warehouse, break open your walls, shove it in, and patch things up. At California Deluxe Windows, we take pride in our work. Our installation technique is so precise, we do not break your stucco. Your house could be covered with potato chips, and we wouldn't crack one.
Call now, and for a limited time, you get 30% off your entire order and 24 months of interest-free financing. 800-874-3600. 800-874-3600. That's 800-874-3600. California Deluxe Windows. Windows engineered for life.
Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774-518.
Shop limited time deals at the Truckload event at Lowe's, happening now. Save big on your favorites across the store. During this event, get up to 50% off select tools and accessories. Plus, find the perfect floor tile for your home for less. Get up to 50% off select styles while you can. Head to your local Lowe's store or visit Lowes.com to shop the Truckload event today. Valid 12/29 through 1/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowes.com for details. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A's locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Bud Light was brewed to be a delicious and easy-to-drink beer, even when the little things in life are hard. Like when the game is going into overtime, but you have even more time to enjoy it. And a fresh Bud Light. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local retailer today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Nachos! Yeah, your nachos!
Hey, I'll take some.
Great. And some Frank's Red Hot.
Oh, nah, I'm good.
Oh, you're just gonna eat these dry, plain, boring nachos with no Franks? Oh, seriously? Frank it up. Frank it up. Come on, lady. Frank it up. Frank it up. Frank it up. Yeah! Yeah, this guy finally gets it. Hey, look, we're on the Jumbotron.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. One more segment for you before tossing over to Joe Shasky and Bonta Hill of the Morning Roast. We've been talking John Lynch. We've been talking Cowboys, Niners. Who's got the most riding on this game? A lot of you seem to think it's Kyle Shanahan. I think it might be Brock Purdy. Kyle Shanahan's legacy, until he wins a Super Bowl, whether we like it or not, is that he can't win the big one. And do I think that's fair? No. Because I think you would take Kyle Shanahan over just about every coach, save for maybe Andy Reid. Belichick, I think, you're seeing what's happening in New England over there. I think he's done. I think he's going to be retiring pretty soon. I know they were so close to make the playoffs again, but he's just a mess with his coordinators. What is he doing with his offensive coordinator? Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, what are we doing? So, and I think it is an offensive league now. It's an offensive-driven league. You need an offensive head coach if you want to be successful. Just look at all the guys remaining. There's only one defensive head coach still in these playoffs. Sean McDermott in Buffalo. Everyone else, Zach Taylor, offense. Andy Reid, offense. Dable, offense. Sirianni, offense. Shanahan, offense. Peterson, offense. All those guys. So it's an offensive revolution. And Kyle Shanahan's at the forefront. That zone running scheme, it's just going to be giving a lot of problems, and it's going to be giving a lot of problems to the Dallas Cowboys. I expect them to run an awful lot this Sunday. CMC, Elijah Mitchell, those guys are going to get a healthy amount of touches. It's one way to neutralize Micah Parsons. And maybe we're sleeping on him a little bit, but I think most Niner fans here anyways have been having a healthy fear of the 49ers, from what I've seen on this chat anyways. The pregame show listeners, you guys are awesome. Shout out the YouTube chat. Shout out the Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Michael Irvin, you know him, you love him, the playmaker, number 88, Cowboys Hall of Famer, wide receiver. He talked about the San Francisco 49ers, and he joined Damon Ratto yesterday, as he does every single week. He talked about the 49ers and them being the kryptonite for the Dallas Cowboys.
I like this matchup the least out of all the matchups the Cowboys could have fallen up upon. I would rather have this in the NFC Championship game. If you have to do it on that stage as opposed to doing it any time before. Because the San Francisco 49ers, they have all the kryptonite for the Dallas Cowboys. They can run the football very well. And another thing, Dallas has speed. And Kyle Shanahan uses Dallas' speed as to their detriment with all the misdirections and everything. I'm really worried about Michael Parsons because I'm sure they're going to throw him so much eye candy that it'll be hard for him to just be focused and play direct football.
It's an interesting point from the playmaker, Michael Irvin, the speed, using Dallas' speed against them. That's another thing about this Kyle Shanahan offense. It does have kind of an Oregon Duck feel. Chip Kelly, and I know, Niner fan, you don't want to hear that name compared at all to Kyle Shanahan, but that just inevitability that they're going to score and that tempo they're going to go with and the right play calling constantly. They're not obviously as fast as that Oregon Ducks team when they just keep going. Kyle Shanahan is very well balanced in his throwing and passing. But it's just the inevitability factor of those Oregon Ducks teams. I kind of has the same feel with this 49ers Kyle Shanahan offense, right? Just the inevitability. They're going to score on you no matter what. Like, I don't care. And if that defense can get enough stops, Bosa and them, which I expect them to do, I think the 49ers are going to score consistently. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to have trouble scoring as consistently, and that's going to be the difference in the game. Those offensive and defensive matchups. Might be a little simplistic, but I'm a simple guy when it comes to the X's and O's. Can you score or can you not? That's what it comes down to in football. That's what it comes down to in sports. Can you score or can you not? If you can't score, you're going to struggle. If you can, you're going to win. YouTube chat, legendary great. Spadoni, that's an icy sweater you got. Let me snag that. It's a jacket, but thank you. Fila, got it for Christmas. One of their classic editions. Shout out Fila. I don't think I see anyone other than like Eastern Europeans rocking it still. I got some Eastern European blood in me. I got some Polish and Russian blood, so it is what it is. Appreciate you giving me the shout out, though. Got a good deal, though. Check them out. And check out 957thegameshop.com if we're talking about clothing, right? Am I right? Still waiting on the pregame show stuff. It's, we're in the process. I need some ideas. We're doing a lot of ideas here for the pregame show merch. We'll get it eventually. It'll be on there. We're thinking of an Espresso Joe, right? And I feel like since I got a honker, we put like the nose like in an espresso cup. That'd be kind of funny. Or shout out Phil Collins Fridays. I was thinking of like a silhouette of just Phil Collins' face that says 95.7 the game in the back. I think that would be the biggest seller for the Phil Collins Fridays. Even if it just says Phil Collins Friday. PCF with the silhouette of his face. Let me know what you think. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Here's more from Michael Irvin talking about how he's not the most talented 88 in Cowboys history. What?
I said he's the most talented 88 because I couldn't play inside. Ed didn't really play inside. I don't even know they were playing inside doing Drew and Drew playing, but you know what I'm saying. C.D. Lamb could play inside. He was the top slot guy this year in the NFL. So, you know what I mean? He go inside, he can play outside. That means he's a very talented guy. Now, also, though, those old 88s had a whole lot of flair. Heads with the X in them out, whole lot of flair. CD doesn't have as much flair, but, boy, I say he has the most talent as all of them.
Interesting. Because when you look back at Michael Irvin, that guy, hell of a talented player. And I didn't really get to watch him as Joe Shasky joins me now for a little crosstalk. Joe Shasky, the Morning Roast. Michael Irvin.
Do you know how to spell Michael Irvin?
How do I spell it?
At least 2 OPIs a half.
Ah, there you go. See, I was already, 4 or 5 when he was out of the league. So I look at highlights and stuff like that. Like, what kind of player was he?
I'll tell you what he was. He was Draymond meets Steph Curry in terms of attitude and cockiness.
Wow.
Yes. Like, he was the guy that wouldn't shut up.
So it was a great name. The Playmaker was a great name then.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had the one strap down, and he'd be clapping, chirping every single time. And, the reason I put Steph in that category, because I think a lot of people outside the Bay Area hate Steph's guts because of how confident and cocky he is and the way he celebrates. But Michael Irvin always had, a Draymond quality to him in terms of chirping.
That's good.
That's the way I would describe it to a kid that didn't see him.
Yeah, that's a great comp. That's great. And him saying that CeeDee Lamb is the most talented 88 and Michael Irvin, hell of a talented player.
Drew Pearson's one of the greatest players of all time in the NFL, and I think we forgot about how great he was. He was the guy who caught the pass after the catch. There's a minute to go, 40 seconds to go. He catches a ball at the 50-yard line and is running away from everyone, and Eric Wright horse collars him down. Drew Pearson's one of the all-time great winners in the NFL.
Totally, absolutely. So, Joe, we were talking, and you were talking to me during the break about, who has the most riding on this game, and then you put it in a better way. Who has the most to lose in this game? And you said Kyle Shanahan, and that was very interesting to me because I feel like until he wins that Super Bowl, his legacy is going to be that he can't win the big one. And that's not fair, is it?
No, I don't think it's fair at all, but it's coming. You best believe that's coming. That narrative's coming. This whole can't win the big one is one of the It's one of the most tired phrases in sports. It drives me completely nuts. Now, it's one thing to say when the chips are at the highest, this guy doesn't perform at his best. And there's a lot of guys that want to. Barry Bonds for many years was that way.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Chris Paul.
Yes.
But the way I distinguish Chris Paul in a different way.
Clayton Kershaw, yeah.
Chris Paul gets hurt.
Yeah, he does.
At the most crucial times.
Yes.
And it's like the most inevitable thing ever. It's like, it's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. My thing is like Popovich, Belichick, Parcells, Walsh. Pick the best players and coaches across sports. You will have scar tissue. You will have losses. But when you get that one championship, it like mints you and all your other stuff is irrelevant. And to me, it's like, well, wait a minute. Let's talk about current form. Everybody's all over Mike Tomlin. He's never had a losing season. And hey, there's something to be said for that. I'm not diminishing that. When was the last time Mike Tomlin won a big playoff game?
Boy. Prior to the AFC Championship, whoever they beat, the Ravens or whoever it was.
2008?
Well, 2000, whatever. When did they play the Packers? 2010?
Well, yeah.
Yes. So
we're talking almost 15 years ago. It's 2023.
That makes me sad because I graduated in 2011 high school.
But you get what I'm saying with
yes.
this? And I'm not.
Yes.
He is I'm not denying he's a good coach. But where's the Mike Tomlin can't win the big one recently? And I'm just using that as an example.
It's because he got the one. That's why.
Shanahan has 5 playoff victories in his last 3 years.
He does. He's the hot hand, is what you would say. You would say Tomlin throughout his career has more consistency.
Yeah, okay.
He's shown that.
Agreed.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. And I would argue that he had the generational quarterback, and that kind of changes things.
Yes.
And the stability that he inherited was different. There's a lot of nuances here. Okay, let's go to Pete Carroll. One of the last big playoff game Pete Carroll's won. And I think Pete Carroll's an automatic Hall of Famer.
Yeah, not since the NFC Championship when they came back against the Packers.
He has one Super Bowl, okay? And you can't take it away from him, but you never hear Pete can't win the big one. Because if you look at it recently, Pete can't win the big one.
No. Well, that electing not to run it with Marshawn Lynch changed everything for him.
Aaron Rodgers
changed everything.
Aaron Rodgers won in 2008.
Yes.
2008.
Yeah.
I don't hear anyone saying he can't win the big one.
Yeah.
Yet, in the last 15 years, he literally cannot win the big one. In fact, he can't win any big ones. Name the last big game Aaron Rodgers won.
No, I can't, because it was the last big game. The biggest game he played in was against Tampa Bay when they came in there and whooped their ass.
And he took his chin strap off and wanted to kick a field goal on 4th down.
Yes.
So this whole can't win the big one, trust me, it's coming for Shanahan if they lose.
That's a great point. That's a great tease right there from Joe Shasky. He'll be joining Bonta Hill, the Morning Roast. They're coming up next. Joe, who do you guys have on today? Do you have any guests?
I don't even know. I lost my phone, so I'm sorry. My phone's broken, excuse me. So
Dude,
I'm
that's
screwed.
like the new wallet and keys attached losing it. The phone losing, it's
worse than anything.
You feel very insecure. That stinks. He's coming up next. Bonta Hill, Joe Shasky, Morning Roast. This was the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride.